Chris Foley, Kid Chris, is what he goes by. We started working together. You were a high school. Were you in high school?
Yes. Well, just out of high school.
Just out of high school, and he came into when I was over at K-Rock.
Yes. By Dave's Diner.
Yeah. And I got you into this godforsaken business.
Yeah, it's the greatest.
Terrible.
I didn't want to be on TV, though. I don't like the
you're
TV
on.
part of it.
Sorry.
That's okay. You have to be on TV, I guess.
I know. It's the way it is. So, and then, so you would end, and at one point you lived with me.
Yeah, a couple times.
You didn't have a place to live.
Right.
And, because
I stayed with you in Providence for a bit, too.
Providence, yeah.
Were you one of the ones that got paid in CDs?
No.
I know.
Oh, okay.
He just didn't get
I
paid.
was lower than that.
Yeah. So, but now you're out, you're doing really well. You're in Cincinnati. You've been there for how long?
It'll be 6 years in October, I think.
6 years.
Yeah.
You
That's
and I
long.
are kind of following the same path here.
And we finally found it.
Yeah.
A job.
Except you're making money, and
Yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm actually here to borrow some.
okay, good. Good. Well, I'm the perfect person for that. Just explain. The business is a tough business, though. If people understand radio, it is a. There was a point where you were in Philly, you were in Atlanta, and the stakes get higher, but it's like you can't keep the jobs.
Right.
So
And
difficult.
the bigger the city or whatever, the quicker you go away. You're blindsided. Like,
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was brought in one time to a conference room, and they just said everything was going fine. And they said, "Yeah, we're pulling the plug today at 5. The whole station's gone." What?
Yeah.
I
No warning.
Usually you could feel something happening.
Yeah.
No warning whatsoever.
You know what's weird is I hear these stories about people working when a store closes.
Yeah.
So you're in a big chain store, and they decided, okay, Kmart's closing.
Yeah.
They have to inform their now under New York State law, because this does not apply to radio.
No.
But under New York State law for these big chain stores, they have to inform the employees so many months in advance, and you get a stinking severance pay even if you're part-time.
Wow.
Really?
That doesn't happen.
Not radio.
You have to go to court to fight for what you were supposed to get.
Yeah, and then
You owe me for that morning that you fired me. You're not going to pay me for that.
And then good luck getting your next job after you're fighting publicly.
Right. Everybody knows
in court.
what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
Right.
I've kind of felt the pains of that.
I had a format flip at 8 o'clock in the morning, right in the middle of my show. They turned on Glenn Beck, and I was gone.
That just like that.
It was a rock station, and then it became a news talk station.
And they won't. And the funny thing is about the business is they don't. That's why I got to tell you. That's why finding a place that's stable, which it seems like you have.
Yeah.
And I certainly have. I think is because it gets sickening being fired and.
Well, when you were here, and I didn't understand it because I was like, why don't you just move on and go to? But you had kids. I didn't at the time.
Right.
Now I have kids, and it's like
Yeah.
I got to stay. I'm going to stay in Cincinnati.
So now you're a dad, and it's a different world.
Yeah.
You can't go flying all over the
No,
world.
and then when you have a wife for a long time, your game goes away. So I don't want to go to another city and try to hook up.
You could never recover from that. The game's gone.
The game is
Your
way
game is
gone.
gone.
It's
the
way
game
gone.
the game changes.
Yeah.
The
When
game
you,
changes.
you step
Yeah.
out, you sit on the bench for a minute, the whole game changes.
And
There's two things I get excited for. It's the weekends and when a wrestling pay-per-view is on. That's it.
Yeah, your game is gone.
It's way gone.
Yeah,
You
it's
have
gone.
you have one child?
Two little girls.
It's the greatest thing in the world, isn't it? Oh, you
No,
have two-
not really.
No.
No. It's not that great.
Actually, he won't admit it, but he's a great dad. You see the
I'm,
pictures,
I'm,
and
I'm pretty awesome,
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a pain in
changes everything.
It sucks.
I had the same conversation with somebody the other day, and they're like, "Well, why didn't you go on and move on around the country and do?" Well, you make a decision, and I'll never forget. And you know this story because when I was in Providence and I decided I'm coming back here. Mm-hmm. My boss.
Well,
was
they
like,
decided for you, didn't they?
No, I quit there.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, really?
In Providence. And I was at the time I was interviewing in Boston, and working with somebody, an agent that said, "I'm going to have you in Boston. You're going to move out of Providence." So, but then you have kids.
Yep.
So I remember my program director said, "Well, you're moving back to Utica. What would you do that for?" And I said, "Well, my son's there, and I can't do this anymore." And listen, I've got 4 kids across the country. I see him Thanksgiving and Christmas. Life's good. And that was the moment that I decided
I'm going to Boston.
And then they didn't hire me, so I had to come back. Yeah. So there you. Thanks. That's the business, though.
No, it is. Yeah. I have no interest in anywhere else. It's yeah.
And Cincinnati's a nice town.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool.
I know it's hard to explain to people who don't get it. I know streets. I know how to get places without my phone. I know the mayor. I can call him and have him on.
Yeah.
You know, other places. I was there
because
not
you weren't there long enough.
I wasn't there long enough.
That's the problem.
You don't become someone who lives there.
Right.
You know what I mean? A resident.
Listen. I get it here.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a bad thing when they know who you are. It's
I
better
know.
if you're somewhere.
I know.
I do think that when I first went to Providence, I just wanted to get away because I had created such a shock jock type world.
Right. And you knew all the all the escort services and stuff. You knew them all.
I knew them all.
A fresh start.
It's important, because I'd run out of numbers.
I know. I've been there.
It's very, very important. I got a break. We'll come back. Kid Chris. By the way,
60 seconds too late.
most legendary thing that you've done. I mean, we've done some really cool crap together, some stunts and stuff. But I think your OJ.
He's out now, so I don't really.
It's not big anymore.
Well, and I don't play it because I don't want him to come after me.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's not illegal.
Well, yeah, and also he got away with it once.
He might come after you.
Yeah.
Physically.
You're right. And he's so old now. Who cares? He'll
Chris is the most persistent. I've done crank calls. I've done some with Chris. And Chris is the most persistent person in the world when it comes to getting somebody on the phone.
Yeah.
And how many weeks did it take you to accomplish? And for some reason, OJ just didn't dump his number.
No.
You kept calling OJ Simpson after he got out.
That was yeah. Well, this is right after the trial. It
right
wasn't
after the
he
trial.
got out.
Yeah.
And it was in the 90s, and a guy that worked at Sprint, I think it was, gave me a number, and he said, call that, see if you can figure out who it is. So all weekend I called, and just some guy kept answering. I didn't know it.
It was OJ.
And then he said it was OJ. It was amazing. And I had a game on the air where we would call every night. People had to guess what day he would change his number. And it was weeks.
So there's a
call every hour for weeks. A lot of time was voicemail, obviously.
I'll give you the toned down version, but you caught OJ at a dinner, and he's like, "Hey, OJ, it's AJ. Let's go out and kill somebody." And OJ's like, "I'm sorry, I'm at a dinner right now with friends. I can't talk."
That'll ruin a dinner.
Legendary phone call. Love it.